Alright, so this was supposed to be like a full PvP video of me revisiting Rose Goku Black and maybe talking about, a platinum equipment that he might get, but goddamn, this video was painful. I would just like to point out the matches you're watching, not only is he being buffed up by Vegeta, but he's also being triple Zenkai buffed. If I actually remember to do it, I'll put the team that I was using up on screen right now. He's being triple Zenkai buffed, has probably the best pure equips that he could use on a setup like this, and this is what he's doing. So, while he didn't perform horribly in this video, it's simply because of how obnoxiously buffed up he is. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think a platinum equipment is good enough. Like, I have always aggressively advocated for LF units getting a platinum equipment before their Zenkai, and LF Vegito Blue is a perfect example of a unit that should have gotten a platinum equipment before the Zenkai, because I'll always stand by this point. A decent platinum equipment would have actually buffed him more than his Zenkai did, but this is a situation where I genuinely feel like he just straight up needs a Zenkai. Because, God, he's so bad. Now, don't get it wrong, right? This fucker is a year and a half old. I didn't expect him to enter the battlefield and just start one-shotting everything. I didn't, right? There's a reason I slapped 3 Zenkai buffs on him. But he needs an entirely new, not an entirely new kit, but he needs buffs to his actual kit. The thing that irritated me the most out of trying to record these matches is the fact that he doesn't get key on switch in, yet has the audacity to draw a card when he enters the battlefield. This fucker has the audacity to draw a strike card but not gain the key necessary to fucking use it. That shit pisses me off beyond belief. Because it's not even like I need him to gain 70 ki when he enters the battlefield. Just give him enough ki to use the one fucking card that he draws. Like, it's so annoying. I can't even use the one card that I auto-draw for entering the battlefield. It's fucking infuriating. So honestly, and I've always said this ever since his release, that he needed card draw speed. A unit like him needed card draw speed. And I used to defend him because I do think that Extreme Bleed might be still to this day the most underrated effect in the entire game, in the game's history. Extreme Bleed is incredibly valuable because it actually does hurt the opponents. And by the time they switch back in, especially if you manage to land a green card first, they are going to be suffering by the time they get back into the battlefield. Extreme Bleed is incredibly powerful, especially when you're hitting it with every single strike card. It's a very good ability, but he needed card draw speed. I cannot defend the idea of them not making him too broken because of that effect that was brand new at the time anymore. They do seem to be very hesitant with giving units Extreme Bleed, which I don't mind. I think it's a very powerful ability. And the fact that he can nullify Endurance just for existing is also incredibly valuable. If he's on your team, he's the unit that you Rising Rush with, but it's just not enough, and to be honest, it never was. I do think he was solid, better than people gave him credit for on release, but he needs a lot. What I would suggest is key on switch in, card draw speed, and cover null. Honestly, like 5 counts of it every single time he enters the battlefield. That just 5 counts. He doesn't need to be doing 10 counts of it like Dragon Fist the first 2 times. Oops, I hit something. The first 2 times he enters the battlefield. I think 5 counts every single time he enters the battlefield is fine. He doesn't need all this bullshit. Or you could slap it onto his green card if you really wanted to. You could allow him to nullify special cover for 10 counts on his green card, but we already know how oppressive that kind of ability is. Look at the androids. The type neutral blue is also very good. type neutral blue cards are very powerful as well, so I have no issue with that either. He has a good foundation, but that's the problem. He really only has the foundation. He doesn't have the finishing touches to actually make him a good unit. And those are the things that I would want the most, like 30, 35 key on switch in, 5 counts of cover null, and then the card draw speed, uncancelable permanent card draw speed, are the 3 things that I think he would really need. Now, could you put that on a platinum equipment? Yes. They did give Bardock an entire unique unique ability on his equipment, so they could go that route and do that for Rose as well on his platinum equipment. And if they did, you know, then fine, that bypasses the need for a Zenkai, because I do feel like a stat buff plus that ability would be enough for him. But I don't see them doing that, because Rose wasn't as bad as Bardock was, and Rose's a lot older, so I don't see them doing that. They'll likely just Zenkai him regardless. And if they did, it would be the one situation where I'm like, you know what, fine, Zenkai him before he gets his flag. The only other unit at this point that I'd be willing to see that with is Gogeta Blue, simply because I don't think he's ever going to get his platinum equipment. I think Gogeta Blue and Vegito Blue are just, they'll never get their own platinum equips. Just never. It'll never happen. I don't know why, but they just don't really want to give those Super Saiyan Blue fusions their own platinum equips. Fuck it. I don't know. This video was painful. That's why there's only 3 matches. And keep in mind, this is the beginning of the season. I'm not even fighting real teams. God forbid if I had run into anything that was actually like a threat. You see the teams in this video and it's like, you really struggled with that? Yes. Despite having Ultra Vegito. Like, Ultra Vegito is really the only reason I won my matches before. You guys aren't even going to see the first 3 matches I did, because Rose literally just does not even do anything. He doesn't even participate in the match. And I had UI Goku there, and I had to swap UI Goku for Vegeta just so I could try and buff Rose up a bit more. Like, Vegeta is only there to provide the support. That's it. That's the only reason why I have him now. It's sad. I love LF Rose. I think he's one of the cooler LF units. I always had to defend him back in the day, but a year and a half later, he needs some help. Stop giving platinum equips to units that came out this fucking year, and focus on the units that actually, you know, are old enough to need those buffs. I get it, Bardock did need it, and you could argue that Jiren could have used it, but I don't think it was necessary. I mean, all his platinum equipment is defense anyway. So, I mean, it's a lot of defense, but if you don't have him at high stars, that equip's not even gonna matter. So it's just whatever. Stop giving platinum equips to units that are less than a year old. I mean, I'm pretty sure they gave Frieza's platinum equipment like less than 9 months after he came out. It's like, why? He was still really good. He didn't even fucking need one. That's the thing that blows me. He was still really good. You could run full power Frieza now without that damn equip and he'd still do fine. I just don't understand their scheduling for platinum equips. Like, why are you ignoring units that actually need them for units that are either less than a year old or already still good? Whatever, man. Whatever. Do you, Bandai. Fucking do you.